Mickey's Big Job is certainly a very beneficial episode of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. There are a lot of opportunities for learning, including counting, recognizing different sizes of objects, and just visually, it's quite an interesting one because in this episode, Mickey and the gang have to go up to Willie the Giant's home and feed his chickens while he's away. Obviously, everything is therefore quite colossal in size and gives us some interesting animations and things to look at. There's a particular moment where they're struggling with these large ducks, and the the viewers, are invited to recognize the size of the ducks and organize them by size type. There are opportunities for counting. The viewer has to count out grains of corn for the chickens. And what I really like about this is that it doesn't just give the answers. There's a chance where Mickey says how many grains of corn do the chickens need, and Minnie explains quite clearly that each chicken needs 5 grains and there are 2 chickens, and there's just enough time for the young viewer to work out in their mind what 2 times 5 is and provide an answer before it actually gives the answer, while of course not dragging on and leaving any moments of silence. I think the balance is very good. This is something Mickey Mouse Clubhouse does quite a lot of. Obviously, I'm not the target audience for these. I watch these because quite frankly, I watch them because I love Donald Duck, but also because I want to watch everything that Disney does, because I am a Disney addict, and it's that straightforward. I love Disney. I love the history of Disney. Particularly love Disney of the 20s to 60s. But I also like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and I love to see how educational these episodes are for the youngest generations of today, and they definitely are educational. Episodes like this, there are a lot of direct learning opportunities, as I said, with counting and organizing sizes, and I always think that they treat the viewer with respect. They never seem to talk down to the viewer as if they're children. They talk on the same level. I know they are children, but let's face it, most of us as children didn't like to be treated like children. And I think they have a very good rapport with this absent viewer. And that's definitely something we see here because there is a lot of interaction. Donald does a lot of whinging, wanting to go home all of the time, which I love. I will be honest, I don't really care for Willie the Giant as a character. I never really have. He's very well animated, and he's a particularly interesting character when trying to work out. I don't even know how old he is meant to be. Is he a fully grown adult giant, or is he meant to be like a child? Definitely not a child. I assume he's an adult. But he's quite a peculiar, fascinating character. But I never find him that interesting. So it's quite fun for me to be able to see his environment and how Mickey Mouse and everybody look tiny while he's not actually there. It's a sweet episode, lots of opportunities for learning. It's not my favourite. From my adult mind perspective, I didn't find it that interesting. And that may sound obvious, but there are actually some episodes that I think are really interesting. There's one, the name of which I can't remember, but in that episode they sing Who's the Leader of the Gang That's Made for You and Me. Mickeymouse. And occasionally you'll get nods to classic Mickey and things, and that's one of the reasons why I love watching it, because it fills me with nostalgia, even though I haven't seen the episodes before. It's very peculiar how it works, but I enjoy it quite a lot. This episode's not one of my favourites, but certainly for the younger viewer, I think it's one that they're probably going to get quite a bit out of. It's very well developed, an interesting enough story, and of course something they can relate to. Neighbours often look after neighbours' animals or anything. So I definitely think it's one that's going to be quite beneficial.